Hello, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm here to make a quick tutorial of how I made these collage stamped cards. I've used stamps from Gummiapan. It's a Swedish stamp and die and paper company, and this is what I came up with. I like making these collage stamped frames and just to create a pattern paper of my own, really. Yesterday I showed that I got this new product, and it's a crackle glaze, and I just wanted to see what it would look like if I were to put it on white. I'm not sure if you can see, but there is a little bit of crackling going on, and I must say that the drying time wasn't too bad. It did go fairly quickly. I also put it on that ear thingy, the ear warmer thingy there. So I've got a couple of stamps from Gummiapan here, and I've used basically the same stamps here. And in this case I just used the Nuvo glitter accents, which is going to give a luxurious glitter effect to my crafty project, it says. And I must say that the nozzle wasn't a fine tip nozzle, so it's pretty hard to get a precise effect here and there, so you had better use it for bigger parts of your things. So in this case I actually put it on those packages, on the purple. I'm not sure if you can see properly, but it's a nice glittery effect although, and it's dry, so it dries also fairly quickly. And I put it here on the ear warmer as well as on the green parts of that thingy there. I'm not sure what it's called now, I'm just lost for words. Well, the paper that I'm stamping on is from Canson. It's a Montval aquarelle paper, and it is 200 grams per meter, which is 100 pounds, I suppose. And let's see if I'll do the colouring. Perhaps I won't. I just want to give you a heads up on how I made these, because I do like making these quick cards. So I do have all the stamps prepared on acrylic blocks like this, so it's going to be an easy process, I hope. And mostly I do store my stamps in these stuff tainers. These are made out of plastic, and you can just open them up like this. If you want to, you could make a cover sheet just to know which stamps are where, because it's going to be easier for you to read the stamp, or the text stamps I must say. So here are a couple of those Christmas themed stamps from Gummiapan, which I have used. I haven't used all of them. But here here's a lovely, funky stamp that could be really nice to have at the bottom also, if one wanted to go for that. But I won't be going there today. I'll be going with the sort of same theme as I did here. And I'm going to start off with Winter Ellie with Cat. That's what this stamp's name is. Winter Ellie with Cat. And it's a beautiful Ellie girl there with a lot of luscious hair. So let's see, I'm just going to ink it up with VersaFine ink. It's a waterproof ink, oil-based of course, but it's still waterproof. So it's perfect if you want to do some watercoloring. And I have placed the stamp alongside a line of this grid blocks, so I'm just hoping I'll be able to put it a little bit outside the paper, as you can see the stamp, so the stamp won't be completely visible. So here we are with that. I'm just going to put that aside. And then I'm going to go for the Christmas gifts. They are sitting nicely on a row, and as you can see, I've actually put the line a little bit above on the stamp, so I know that I can put the line alongside with the paper. In that case I'm actually ensuring that that line won't be above the paper line there. And then I like to have something to sort of weigh up or be almost as big as the main image down here. So I'm going to go for a big snowflake, and I'm going to put that also just a little bit outside the paper. So I'm going to create that nice looking corner there. So now I have the chance of actually going in with a candle This is a set of 3, and I'm thinking that this might be a special stamp that perhaps isn't out for sale. I'm thinking that I got this at a crafty crop when I was in Trollhättan last year, or was it this year? Perhaps it was this year, 2017. So now I have a Christmas candle there as well. And when I'm doing this kind of stamping, and if I'm using, let's say, solid stamps as well as sort of these line stamps, I do want to go, every second should be a little bit harsher and every second should be a little bit more lighter, as it were. Let's see, I'm going to go for that julpost. And I'm going to put it quite far in because I do like that effect that the circular shape will give me. So there it is, julpost. And just to have something to go with it, I'm going to go for a smaller snowflake. I'm just going to put it actually where I can fit it best, like so. So there we have it. So the main thing is to actually cover the edges of the paper with stamps. So in this case I'm thinking I could actually go for that solid stamp, but since I'm working on this, you know what I could do actually. Now I'm going to, now I got an idea. I'm going to get out one of my stamping tools. Let's see if I can make it work with this one, because I'm working on an uneven surface, work surface, and I did get this package of corners that one can use in the Misty. I'm not sure if I can use it in this stamping platform from Tim Holtz. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And I just want to use it as a placement, so I know that I can put the paper just a little bit outside. So let's see. I mean, these are well packed in, I must say. So here we have a lid for that. And now I'm thinking it ought to be an easy thing to just take it out. So here I have a sort of an L ruler. I'm going to turn it over like that. Although I need to think about this for a little, because I want to be able to have the paper in the corner like so. Let's see if I'm thinking correctly here. It doesn't really help. Okay, rethink. So if I'm having it there, I'm able to do a bit of stamping there. And basically I don't want to smudge this one up too much, so I'm actually going to put a paper underneath. That might give me a problem. Let's see. So I'm going to put that underneath, bloody hell, just to see if I can make this work. And I'm going to have that L ruler there, which means that I can put my paper just a little bit more in the center, and I can do my stamping. Well, of course I need to make sure that I'm getting the stamp lined up and everything. So I'm just going to clean it up, because it's a solid stamp. It's going to gather quite a bit of ink, so I don't want that on my fingers. So I'm thinking it's not easy for me to know where I'm going to end up with this. So what I have to do is do a bit of pre-stamping. Bloody hell, you know what? Just have to shift this, because I had it set in for a clear stamp, which is actually thinner. So now there's a little bit of ink residue there, so I'm just going to pick it up. You see, there was a little bit of a leftover ink there, so let's see, it's not straight now, is it? So what I can do now is take it up and make sure that I'm lining it up and sort of making it straight looking, following the grid pattern that I've got here. So let's see if I could do something with this. And if I'm going to be clever about it, I'm going to take this one away for now. See, I'm not perfect. I never told you I was. So I'm going to take another piece of paper here, aren't I? What was that? A lot of... So I think I'm just going to take this paper underneath, like so. And I'm going to put this one here as the proper paper that I'm going to use later, and I'm going to ink this one up. And this is a solid stamp, and I'm going to work on watercoloring paper, so it will give me a hard time. So I really need to make sure that I'm getting everything right, and it's not good to have the magnets underneath the sides there. So I'm just going to press it, CPR it. So as you can see, it doesn't cover it completely because watercoloring paper has got a texture to it, so it's going to need another print, perhaps even a third print. Like so. I'm sure it will be better in time, but what I want to do now is just have a look-see at where the stamp is going to end up. So let's see, it's going to end up, it's going to be alright actually. So what I could do now is that I can keep the paper underneath. I can put these here, and now I'm going to do some proper inking, aren't I? Making sure everything is in place. And do a bit of CPR stamping there. Well, you know what? I could actually stop here because I have that candle which isn't perfect either. And I'm sort of going for that rough look, and I'm happy enough about that stamped image there. So I'm just going to close it for now. Put it there. And I can continue. But it's a nice tool to have if you want to re-stamp your images. I do have a couple of snowflakes there, and if I'm going back to my main image as I had it here, I could have a snowflake here as well, couldn't I? So I'm going to go for the medium-sized snowflake. And I'm trying to follow the shape of her head. So there we have it. And what could I do now? Well, I could put it in yet once more and just highlight it even more and make the most part of it visible. I could do it like this, trying to follow the shape of that Gold stamp there. So what I could do now is to choose something that is going to be more solid, and I'm thinking that perhaps I could go for this. I do have two snowflake stamps, so perhaps I could go for them, or I could go for this circle. I think I'll just go for that circle star there, because it does have a distressed look to it, and then I could actually continue with one of the small snowflake stamps there. Perhaps I could put in just a little bit of that stamp. Something like that. So that's one way to go about it. So let's see. How am I at time? It doesn't say how many minutes this minute has been. But I could do a little bit of colouring, of course. I'm not a colouring artist per se, so I just want to have that set beforehand, so you're not shocked when you see my haphazard kind of colouring technique. And I'm going to go with some really muted or pastel-y colours. And I'm going to paint with a water brush. And mind you, I'm standing up right now, so my colouring skills will be a little bit worse than if I'm sitting down and taking my time. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just picking up some of the ink and I'm just dragging it along, and I'm sort of fading it out with the water that the brush contains, or the water container actually contains. So I'm just going to put it in, and I can see that it is rather wet now, so perhaps I overdid it with the water. And I'm just going to put some of the ink on her legs there as well. So I see that the legs are getting a little bit more ink. So I'm actually going to just add on something here as well, just to not make her in a different color when it comes to face and whoopsie, and the legs. So I'm going to wipe that one off, and I could also just wipe this surface clean, because I know that I won't be using that tattered rose anymore. And what could I do next? Well, she's got a lovely set of hair, so all of these stripes here are of her hair, and I'm sort of fond of making my girls red or ginger, so perhaps I should go for this today as well. So I'm starting off with some scattered straw, and I'm just going to paint it in basically, and I'm just going for every second of these strands of hair, or these parts of hair. Then of course, and as you can see, I'm not going to cover all of these because I'm going to leave some white intentionally. I do like that effect. Some might think that it's a sloppy way to go about it, but well, then that's just me, isn't it? So I think that this strand of hair ought to go there. You know what? Actually, oh, it's the cat's tail, I think it must be. So I haven't done wrong there. So now that I have done that, I could go in with this here and here. And the more diluted the water is, of course, the more lighter it's going to be. So here we have something, and here we have something, and then of course I do have something here. And I'm thinking that the hair also goes down here, so perhaps I should put in a little bit there. So that's scattered straw, and if the ink has had the time to dry a little, I usually go back in order to create a little bit of depth with the same color. I could of course go in with a darker shade as well, but it's fun to make use of the ink that I've got on the table like this. And I usually dot it a little bit like that. So the next color is going to be wild honey, and I'm going to repeat the process basically. And it's nice to start off somewhere where the ink, or it isn't wet from before. You know what, it got wrong here. It doesn't matter really now, does it? And I see that I have missed out on a bit there, so I'm going to have to correct that later. So the strands of hair are going to be a bit different this time. Well, that's what you get when you're rushing about in a video. And as you can see, they aren't that different in shade. They are sort of similar, the scattered straw and the wild honey. It also of course depends on how much water I'm diluting the inks with. So let's see, do I have anything I could do here? Put something there, and I could go in and just take care of that bit there. One could of course dry this with a embossing or heat tool or something, but I'm thinking that I could go back later, and I'm going to go for bundled sage, and I really like having the scarf. Now I got the word, didn't I? Scarf with the green. So you see, you don't really have to be a colouring artist per se in order to colour in your images. You could do it quickly like this, couldn't you? And then of course I did want her shoes to be green as well, because I want her to have a matching outfit now, don't I? So, And then of course the ear muff, or whatever you could call this, could also be green. And I'm just going to color it in really haphazardly, as you can see. And I'm going to leave a white space there. And then when it comes to coloring in the packages, well, perhaps I could go for some green. I could take out some of the bundled sage and I could do the stripes. It's nice to work in different areas of your paper, so you are giving the colors a chance to dry a little bit. And here I'm going back in with a couple of dots just to make a difference in the coloring, like so. I could also just go in and add on some color here and there. Perhaps the boots need a little bit extra. So now it's up to me to decide. Well, I could actually make those bows green, couldn't I? There are two of these, so I can go for that. So what I could do now is decide on what color her eyes could be. And this is a tricky part, of course. I mean, you could go for some black and make her eye really black. I have forgotten about that one. But you know what? You could also do it with a pencil afterwards. So that's perhaps the best thing to go about it. So I'm going to make her a green-eyed girl. So, and I could do the eye later, perhaps. So what could I do next? I could decide on what colour the coat should be. I do fancy the pumice stone, or I did actually have hickory dock on the first. So hickory dock it could be. I'm also going to colour in the scarf in that hickory dock. And of course the coat. And I'm going to take care of not colouring in the buttons, because I don't want them to be green. And as you can see, I have actually missed out on one bit of the hair. Perhaps I was too quick there. I need to do something there. So I'm thinking, what colour did I have here? Perhaps I should go with the wild honey. They're sort of the same. So here we are with that, and I want to make the buttons green. And then it's all about colouring that. The brush is really wet, so I'm not having the same luck with colouring as I did on the other two here. So perhaps one ought to get off a little bit of water on your hand, on one's hand or something. So the cat is there, and here I had it red with a couple of stripes. And I don't really see in which other way I could go about it. Of course I could make the cat pumice. Pumice stone coloured, just to have it differ from the hair. And here I'm also just putting the darker area where the back is, and I'm just going to go in with a little bit of sort of a greyish colour at the tail and here. And when it comes to going in closer to the face and everything, I'm just going to wipe off the brush before I go there. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually just putting in extra effect. So now might be a good time to actually do a bit of drying, because I want to put in those stripes. And now I could think about in what color I could make the rest of the packages. Well, I could actually go for some orange. It's going to be looking nice, I think. So I'm going to put in orange here and there. Wild honey, that means in distress language. And I'm thinking that perhaps I could try to color the background paper in a sort of muted wild honey as well. So that's in that way I'm actually keeping this cohesive. Let's see if I can make it work, as I said before, when it comes to coloring in the eye. I didn't go with a black pen on the other two, but I could actually correct myself and do so. So I'm just trying to color her eye in, or the pupil, if it's called that. That's better actually. So I'm going to improve this. It is a difference to it, I must say, because here I actually had the black suit, and you can see that there is going to be a difference. It's much blacker there. So let's just go for it. That's a nice idea. So here we have it. What I could do now, of course, is decide on whether to soot the edges or not. So I'm just going to take a sponge like this, and I'm going to take one of these. I could take the latest, of course. And I'm just going to soot the edges in order to bind it together. You know what? I'm seeing that I have missed out even more of the hair, so I need to improve that a little. And I'm going to take my brush, and I just realized that I haven't done anything here. Have I done it on the other ones? I've missed out on them as well. Goodness sake! And I believe I could go with the sort of orange here. It all depends on where you're ending up with your stamp now, isn't it? Seems like I've had a different color here, but anyhow, I think it's going to be alright. So here they are, cute little buggers, I must say. I could of course go in and add on something else. Seems like I have missed out on a couple of colors. So what I could do now is just go in and add on some extra, to sort of create depth to this hair. And then of course one could sit with this for hours if one wanted to. So here you have it. All of those winter Ella girls. And now this is completely dry. And let's see if I can show it to you once more the crackled glaze. It's a rather nice effect. So that's it from me. Bye bye. Let's see if I can find the remote. Bye bye.